Thank you for bearing with us. Like I said, we'll cast this from replay at the end of the clan war. Just for the people who missed that, this is Shaft of the Clanic Casting Crew. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Unions of America StarCraft 2 Team League. And in this kind of best of 7 format, which is a Pro League format, not an all-kill format. So players, each team is going to field brand new, fresh players with the winning team choosing their player first, losing team choosing map, and then their player. So what we'll be doing right now is getting the player for Good Game Kids and seeing where Eternal Dreamers wants to go next. So guys, bear with us just 1 second. We're taking care of the administration side of duties right now. That is getting the new maps, getting the new players, all that good sort of thing. But while we wait, got a question here for you, Dark Jester. If you could buy a beer and have a drink with any historical figure, real or fictitious, who would it be and why?
Any of them? Oh, wow, that is a pretty selective question there. I'll have to separate it into two. Fictitious and real. Real, I would want to say I'd want to sit down with... what's his name? The guy that's in the wheelchair now.
Stephen Hawking?
Yes, Hawking, before he got in the wheelchair, though. Actually have a conversation with him before all those situations occurred that got him into that extent. And then, fictional, being a big video game person, I would personally love to possibly hang out with some of the people from Final Fantasy. Just because, God, the storylines in some of those games is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. You'd be in a party with Cloud.
Of course, I already own both his swords. I mean, he's come get them at some point. So,
I see. So it looks like Good Game Kids is going to be fielding their player Miracle, where Eternal Dreamers is going to be fielding Weightless on Star Station. If you want to go ahead and host that, feel free. You still alive here, Dark Jester?
back off so people don't hear me clicking.
Ah. Oh, it's no problem if they hear you, man.
Oh, I know, but I get kind of annoyed with it, so. It's one of
Gotcha.
those I don't like bugging people to death with as I'm clicking away. There's so much typing to do between games.
There really is. I think we would even benefit from having two dedicated casters and an observer, and the
That way they
observer
could set up
handle.
all the typing and doing all the talking in
Mm-hmm.
between. Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, the casters would handle the talking, and the observer would handle the game setup.
As soon
Something
as
we
I
should
find
propose.
him, there he is.
Well, we are sitting on about 26 viewers. I'd say with all our issues early on, that's actually not too bad. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Please tell your friends. We are going to go ahead and be starting into this game as soon as we get the ready from the players. But thanks for your patience. We are back. We're full speed ahead at this point, completely ready to get this going. This is game number 2. We've got a 1-0 lead right now for Good Game Kids. But Eternal Dreamers is a force to be reckoned with. I've seen these guys put up a fight every single clan war I've casted of theirs, and this is like the third motherfucking one. So, all I'm gonna say is I don't expect them to take this laying down. So, let's get this started. We've got a game here on Star Station. This is a lot different than Newkirk Precinct. Newkirk Precinct is a map where you kind of fortify your defenses, make a bunch of cannons or spine crawlers or static defense, and just plant your army in the middle of the map with that static defense protecting yourself from drops. But
All right, let's go ahead and get that promo video rolling, and we'll talk more about the map in just a second. As we get
Absolutely.
ready to start the match. Alright guys, here we go. Moving in on Star Station. We got our first ZVP. As we all know, I'm a favorite Zerg player, so...
As am I. But going back to what I was saying about this map, this is a lot different than Newkirk Precinct. You're not going to be as rewarded for defensive play. Your third is a lot harder to hold, especially as a Zerg player, because looking in these cross-spawn positions, it has to be cross-spawn on this map. You can take this base, you can take this base. You can kind of wall off here a little bit with some spine crawlers. But this one's going to be hard to hold because there's 3 different entrances into your base. That's a really wide area to cover with spine crawlers. Or you can take the low ground here, which makes Colossi parked here, here, or here super devastating. So, with all of that being said, it's going to be interesting to see what Weightless decides to do. He did choose this map, so he probably has something up his sleeve. Now, we have a Protoss player here as well, and I want to talk about Protoss build orders because we're already seeing Nexus first or Forge first out of Miracle, but until about 3 minutes, unless he sends out a really early drone scout, Weightless isn't going to know. It's going to take until the 3-minute mark for him to reach this wall off, scout it, and say, okay, this is going to be a fast expand. That will mess with his timings a little bit. He might get gas a little sooner than he needs to because this is such a long map. Usually against Gateway first, you're going to go pull gas hatch. But if you're going against a fast expander, you want to just go for the pull hatch, get your gases at 6 minutes for 2 or 7 minutes for 3. So I feel like, with not doing a drone scout, he may be making a little bit of a mistake on this wide-ass map.
Well, and it's always a gamble. When you have these large maps, your scouting really affects you. And it's one of those things, as Zerg, do you want to risk it? You need to play greedy, but if you play greedy and you don't, it's going to cause you problems. On this particular map, because of the small choke point right there outside of the natural, I'm actually surprised that Zerg just didn't go 15 hatch. The reason is because of that small choke point, most Protosses will Forge Fast expand or One Gate expand on this because they know they've got time. Even if that Zerg 6 pools, there's a good chance they could pylon block the Zerg from getting in and just have to cancel their Nexus.
Yeah.
But right now, the Zerg that is just now getting an idea of what's going on. Well, in a second.
Production tab, please.
That wonderful Overlord is just moving. He'll get there and find out that, oh crap, he's been so much time to pump this stuff through. And here it is. You've got this wall done. Protoss is starting to focus heavy, and Zerg's like, oh, I guess I should take another base. That third is really late. To really pump out what he needs now to catch up in drones, that third should have been, I don't know, at least started by the time that wall finished, not just starting as the wall finishes.
According to Stefano's original build, which I think is what Weightless is showing us here, you basically, as soon as your spawning pool finishes, you build one set of lings. As soon as that set of lings finishes, you use that set of lings to escort a drone to the third. The way these timings work out, that seems to be the timing Weightless was going with. So I think he's just choosing something a little more defensive, which we've actually seen more defensive leaning strategies from him, you know, so far, especially when he went pool then hatch. Because I know earlier you asked, you know, why didn't he just go 15 hatch? I think it's because of the mineral lines. You can easily hide cannons back here with pylons and whatnot, and he just wanted to have the lings there just in case. He obviously feels like he's a much better player than his opponent, but hey, it's 6 minutes into this game and we have not actually done any kind of introduction. So here on the bottom right hand side of Star Station, we have our pretty purple Protoss. It's Good Game Kids Miracle. And here on the top left-hand side of Star Station, just now getting his first 2 gas, it's the Eternal Dreamers Weightless. Yay. And we actually have a Stargate about 3/4 of the way in production right now for Miracle. So we can easily see where he's going with this. He wants to do Phoenix to detract his opponent from the possibility of even thinking about Mutalisks. When his opponent decides not to go Mutalisk, he's kind of going to be forced down a Hydra or Swarm Host path, which means Colossi. As soon as Colossi are brought into the play, we're going to see the Zerg either go into a late game composition with Ultralisks or Broodlords, or we're going to see him switch to Mutalisks.
Being a Zerg, I really love to see the Muta play, especially by your upper pros, because they play it right. I mean, the rest of us Bronze Leaguers, we're like, oh, we know how to use Mutas. Nah, I think some of the best Muta play I've ever seen came out of some of the pros. Just the way they can control the micro requirements.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a scout here into the main of Miracle. That Overlord did explode right over that Stargate. Its guts are on the brand new finish.
They gotta clean that off, you know.
But the thing is, that Overlord scouted one Stargate without a whole lot of gateways there. He has thrown down 6 gateways since that Overlord exploded. So this just went from a completely passive play from Miracle, which he showed his Zerg opponent, to I'm going to fucking kill you. And that's basically where we're at in this game right now. Weightless is completely unprepared for a timing attack. He's getting a couple of Spore Crawlers for defense, but making 10 drones. It's good that he's got these lings on the field. It's good that he's intercepting this probe, because he needs to scout, and he needs to scout bad. His opponent is going to apply pressure with these Phoenix. Oh god, he's going to miss this probe. He is missing this probe, but he's seeing that there's no third going down. He has about 60 seconds before that becomes a major issue for him. About 10 minutes is when the Protoss would want a third. Now the Protoss did just go ahead and finish +1 upgrade, so this timing attack window is closing. There's roach speed on the way, +1 armor on the way for our Zergy McFerguson. But there's a proxy pylon down for Miracle, and I don't think that the Zerg is going to hold this, because he doesn't even know it's coming.
But he has started producing units. I start to see a lot of roaches pumping out. I think he has this feeling like something's coming. He just doesn't know what. It's that whole, oh, I haven't seen him in a minute. Something's got to be coming.
He just saw that. He
Yep.
just saw that. So he now knows that there is definitely something coming. He's making 3 overlords at a time, so he's really getting ready to rev up roach production. Right now, the arming supply is to Weightless's favor by 5 supply, but we've...
That's 5 supply against sentries and stalkers. And the sentries
Yeah, and that's also 5
so much
supply
trouble.
of roaches. So
Yeah.
well, he's got a 31 supply lead at this point, but that is mostly the roach numbers here talking. Roaches are very heavy on supply for their cost as far as minerals and gas. They're real resource intensive on the supply count.
One thing I do like that he's doing right
We've got sentries getting targeted down right now by the roaches. He is actually target firing a lot of those sentries, and he's actually doing some really nice roach hugs. Stalkers cannot withstand a roach hug. Basically, you right click behind the stalkers and attack click when your attack is ready. You just kind of got to know the timing on your roach attack. But these are beautiful roach hugs right now by Weightless. Weightless is...
And during all this, Weightless has had a nice set of lings going around getting rid of proxy pylons.
Indeed.
He's still got 1 left, but it's still, that's going to really help him in the long run. He's just got to get that last one, and there will be no reinforcements coming.
Indeed. And there's still that 1 pylon, but I think the attack is dead regardless. But the overlords are kind of getting hunted down here by phoenixes.
There we go. Had to wait for those queens to walk off creep to get back to kill that 1 phoenix.
Indeed. So we've basically are looking to see when this 3rd is taken by Miracle. As you can see, he's about to try to take it, but the Zergling shall intercept. Oh, but the Nexus is not going to go down. That's huge. If that Nexus
get him! Annoy the snot out of him. Good job, little Ling. I'm gonna take you out for donuts later. That's when you know your Ling did a good job. Too bad he doesn't have burrows so he could... he could have escaped. That poor Ling.
So basically, to put a clock on this, this has delayed that Nexus about 45 seconds, and it's going to allow Weightless to hit a timing attack of his own. He's moving out with a Roach Hydra Ling.
This is going to be a nasty push. Those queens are going to be really useful in just tanking damage. Just think of them as heavy-duty Hydras.
Oh, and the Zealots here in the 3rd of Weightless are actually wrecking hell on this mineral line. There's actually no static defense here to deal with ground. So if he continues just using this proxy pylon to warp in small amounts of Zealots or Dark Templar, he's going to be worlds and worlds ahead.
Very well.
But thing about this attack is it's incorporating queens, and he's still got queens at home, so it's not like it's an all-in attack, but the queens are not actually here to help out this army, but it doesn't look like he's going to need it as
they're
Miracle
in full
is
march, though. They're trying. You have to give
they
them
are
props.
fine. Now, this Void Ray is actually getting targeted down very, very quickly. Mothership Core should go next. Mothership Core is actually a huge investment.
Right into those Hydras. And I'm sorry, Hydra's DPS is so brutal. Right now, I don't know if the Protoss can actually hold this back safely. You got 1 Colossi in production. You've got an Immortal down. He's going to be able to fill the gap here, but unfortunately... Yeah, see, he missed those force fields, and that just let them all in.
GG goes down.
Guys.
Looks like Eternal Dreamer's taking a victory here, tying it up 1-1. Don't forget Control-Shift-S, Control-Shift-7. Okay, so we've actually got 1-1 tied now for Eternal Dreamers and Good Game Kids. Looks like that Zerg player knew exactly why he chose Star Station. But we are going to be looking for the next players on the next map. What map would you be picking, and what kind of matchup would you go for if you were in the shoes of Good Game Kids right now?
Well, of course I'd be playing Zerg. But against... Personally, what I found entertaining to watch is ZVT. Unfortunately, I'm not that big of a fan of ZVT lately. Something about it's kind of more in favor of our wonderful Terrans, and I'd prefer to stay in favor of our wonderful Zergs. But, hey, I just don't get to choose, that's all.
Indeed. But okay, so looks like we're gonna have Good Game Kids going ahead selecting their player. Um, do. You play any Mortal Kombat?
No, I have not. Last time I played, Scorpion was still human, and Sub-Zero didn't have a kid brother.
Oh wow, wow. Okay then,
It's really
never
bad
mind.
when I know I can go back that far. I played the first one though, so
Gotcha.
I got the old school rep.
Okay, so if you were one old school Mortal Kombat character, who would it be and why?
Sub-Zero, because I like
Sub-Zero.
freezing people and busting their heads off.
Okay, fits your personality. I gotcha.
I'm watching the stream right now, and it looks like we have no issues with lag anymore. That's good.
Yeah, definitely good. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Looks like we're sitting at a total of 27 viewers right now. We appreciate all your support. Please hit follow if you like what you're seeing here. And if you really like what you're seeing, please check out my YouTube. That is for the Clanic Casting crew. You can look that up by searching Malcolm Heath on YouTube or looking up Misused Shaft. Now, I promise that's nothing dirty. It's just Shaft and the only Shaft were both taken. They misused my name. Those fuckers misused Shaft.
Well, you know, Shaft is kind of a little predating a lot of us. I mean, come on, 1960s they had Shaft.
Exactly. They did. They did.
It's kind of hard to take Shaft from Shaft.
Did you just use hard and shaft in the same sentence, bro?
I'm sorry. Is that surprising you?
A little bit.
Hard shafts surprise you, eh?
They
get
do,
that checked
especially
out.
there. Especially when you put them there. All right, so it looks like Eternal Dreamers is going to be sending out Quackers. We're still waiting to hear from Good Game Kids on map and player, but this is starting to fess up into a pretty interesting match. No, don't forget our scoreboard, bruh. Don't forget our scoreboard.
Okay.
Oh, I just noticed last game you didn't bring up the best of 7 thing.
Oh, no. I have to remember to hit those hotkeys, which requires me to memorize them.
Ah, yes. Control-Shift-S.
I'll get it down eventually here.
Yay! Yeah, guys, I'm trying to send out my new interface to like all the UASL casters to have them
Try
guinea
out.
pig beta testing. Well, yeah, I'm getting feedback from everybody so I can improve it more. So,
Well, I mean, it's very nice layout. It looks very clean. And actually, one of the things I enjoy about it is the versatility. There's a lot of the production menus and all that look really nice. It just, you get that learning curve. Every time you change your UI, you're like, oh crap, where's this? Where's that? What does this look like? Oh crap, how do I get them this information? But once you use it a few times, you start to get a little used to it. It works really nice. So far, we've used Newkirk and Star Station.
we're about to do one on Derelict Watcher, which I'm hosting up now.
Oh. Alright, caster battle. I won't play Terran. Never. I'm so horrible at Terran, they should fire me for even trying. Make nothing but Widow Mines. I heard they win games lately.
Alrighty, so I was just taking care of getting the game hosted up. Looks like we are gonna have either a very embarrassing game for Quackers. There's no winning this situation for Quackers. Let's put it that way. He is up against Barbie Prime. Okay, let me explain something to you about Barbie Prime. This is not Scarlet, you know, a really good guy who decided he was going to become a girl. This is actually a chick. So if Quackers wins this, he was beating up a girl. That's never a good thing. You don't want that reputation. But if he loses this, he lost to a girl, and that's not a good thing either. So let's start our ZVZ here on Derelict Watcher.
All right, 10-4.
All right. So are you familiar with these players at all? Have you casted either of these clans yet?
I've already casted Barbie a few games now. Very entertaining player. A lot of stuff coming to the table. Different build every time I watch. So that's what I really enjoy.
Okay.
Let's hope to see that again on this next one.
Well, she's repping the pink color, man. I gotta give her props for that. Real men wear pink, and apparently girls do too.
Of course. There's nothing wrong with that.
Barbie in pink. Now she just needs a medevac with blonde hair.
Oh, I see. That was just kind of a little bit much there.
Indeed. Well, here on the bottom left-hand side of Derelict Watcher, we have our green ducky. Oh, wow. Green ducky. Okay, I was reading Eden TND's Quackers chat. Never mind. Here on the bottom left-hand side of Derelict Watcher, we have our pretty pink Zergy McFerguson representing Good Game Kids. It's Barbie Prime. And here on the top right-hand side of the very same map, we have the lime green Eternal Dreamer. It's the Duckman Quackers.
Bad memory for me. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that just kind of makes me wonder. Oh, it's ZVZ. I love ZVZ.
Dude, it's
like a very entertaining match.
Yep. You can basically watch the production tab until you see the first wave of 8 Zerglings. When you see 6 to 8 Zerglings, what's up?
Well, no, that's true. You pretty much just wait for Zerglings to start off the game.
So basically what we're going to be doing right now is buying some time until we see 6 to 8 Zerglings. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this matchup because we've got a hatch first pull first. This doesn't make a handful of difference. There's a small moment in the game where the spawning pool first will have a queen out, so they'll have like 1 extra larva because every 40 seconds because queen plus hatch makes 7 larvae per 40 seconds. 2 hatches make 6 larvae per 40 seconds. But when you get the second queen on the 2 hatch build, you can flood out a pretty aggressive amount of lings. So Barbie Prime, in all likelihood, may be going for some kind of ling timing or may just want to play a super greedy drone game, whereas Quackers is trying to play super safe, going for that pull before hatch, now getting a gas. His gas is going to be a little bit behind Barbie Prime's. So again, just kind of expecting Barbie Prime to be going for something a little more aggressive.
Yep, we got the first pack of lings coming out of Quackers over here.
Well, it's only 4 lings, so I'm thinking those are scouting.
Yeah, I'm thinking more scouting, maybe a little harassment, because there's really nothing to slow them down right now. But by the time they make it all the way over there as slow lings, something will be there.
Well, guys, I just want to thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time checking us out here, this is the Union of America's StarCraft 2 Team League. With you today is myself from the Clanny Casting crew, Shaft, and with me tonight is Dark Jester. And we've got some pretty exciting games here. Ling's just kind of scouting around on the map. But I want to take just a moment while we've got this last couple of shreds of passive play in this ZVZ to thank the viewers. Everyone in chat, thanks for giving us feedback, letting us know what we're doing wrong, helping us keep the production going on. Please, if you're in chat, we are reading it. You can feel free to talk to us. We'll try to talk back. There's a 2-minute delay, so there's a little bit of a delay between what we say and when you see it. But we are here, we are listening, so thanks for tuning in. Cold Scars, man, big shout out. You're a big, good friend of mine. I had no idea you were following us, but it's good to see you there.
Well, good thing I see here is both Zergs have dropped their Bangley's nest. Both of them have speed on the way. Looks like Barbie's going to have her speed just a little bit before. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, because it doesn't look like she's planning on using it for aggressive means just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to have a little bit of entertainment here, as both of them seem to be going for the very basic Zergling, Bangling start off.
Indeed.
Quackers is the only one actually making Banglings.
Well, it's
Oh,
interesting. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. When you go for Banelings, it's kind of who's going to spend the most on gas and who isn't. Because, quite frankly, you know, if you make a bunch of Banelings and your opponent doesn't attack into them, you've wasted a lot of gas. If you're going for Mutalisks, that will set you worlds and worlds behind. But both players in this scenario had to go for Ling Baneling into whatever tech they want to go for, just because of the way they opened up. Hatch first in the Barbie Prime case, ETND Quackers. He had a little more flexibility, but he still elected for the more classic Lings. And now those were some pretty good Banelings shots there, but there's still some Lings left over, and we've actually got Quackers running here with 2 Banelings. It only takes 2 Banelings right now to kill as many drones as he wants. He actually got 4 drones with that, it looks like. 7 workers have been killed so far. Pretty good splits here from Barbie Prime, but she's got a Spine Crawler up now, 2 Queens as well. No creep actually connecting her main to her natural, though, and that's a huge liability for these Queens. She will not be able to inject quite as regularly. She's got a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gas, so she is definitely going for the Mutalisks, whereas her opponent is only about just now finishing the layer, has not got a 4th gas, so I'm expecting maybe a Roach Hydra play, but the Spine Crawlers are going up. That could just be defense from a counterattack, but he's also getting 4th gas, so he could be going for that Spire as well. That means Barbie Prime slightly in a lead, but if you take a look at the total gas mined for both players, there's only about 200 in the natural of Barbie Prime, whereas these other two have been mined out a lot more significantly. There's a lot more gas all in all mined for Barbie Prime than there is for Quackers, so Quackers at least slightly behind here in this Spire War.
Yeah, and I find it a lot of times that the game is just see how long you can hold your base, what you can do to hold back. I see a 3rd going down, now he's got to defend it. Of course, automatically Quackers has to contest it, just to make sure that they understand, hey, you can't get a free base without having to fight for it. Or he has to take a base of his own. And if that 3rd finishes up uncontested, then it's going to be a really bad day.
Well, when it goes to a Muta versus Muta war, it all comes down to the 5th and 6th gas, because your Mutas have a 1-to-1 ratio with your minerals to your gas. So if you're mining off 6 gas, 2 base minerals, you have just enough to make Mutalisks, and then a couple leftover Zerglings, a couple leftover drones, whichever you choose. You can't do both. But it's all going to come down to that Mutalisk production. If you're on 6 gas, your opponent's on 4, you're going to win the air war. Now, how important is the air war? Well, past the 20-minute mark, super important. Before the 20-minute mark, it's going to come down to the Lings, though. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Really nasty Bangling mess up there, where it looked like Barbie went in to get him and lost everything to Banglings. But the Banglings walk up into a base with no drones to kill.
I have a question for you. Can you spell Banglings for me?
Banelings.
Okay. Just making sure.
I know, but I treat them like they bang.
I got you. I like it. I didn't know if it was your accent or what. I just had to make sure that was intentional.
Oh, it is intentional. It's just like bangling landmines are the sexiest things that can be made.
They are, because they go bang. I get it. It's awesome. So we do have the 5th and 6th gas now for Barbie Prime. However, that is being contested pretty heavily by Quackers. Quackers knows how important this 5th and 6th gas is, and he actually has not even started his own extractors. One thing that I really like that Barbie Prime did was build the extractors as she built the hatchery. Now, some people are like, ooh, that's not so good, but because you're not going to be able to mine as many minerals with those because, you know, they're not mining. But it's not minerals that matter in this matchup. Yeah,
no, it's a gas game. Muta play, people don't realize, if you're not 3 bases with gas, you cannot produce enough mutas to be useful. and it's just the way it is.
Here's the muta engagement. Now this is interesting because Quackers has his Zerglings parked underneath Barbie Prime's Mutalisks. Even though Barbie Prime actually has more Mutalisks here, the engagement was not going super in her favor simply because of those Zerglings. The Zerglings will absorb bounces where basically Quacker's Mutalisks were bouncing between Barbie Prime's Mutalisks. Barbie Prime's Mutalisk Glaives were bouncing between the Mutas into the Zerglings, so there's just less DPS there total, despite Zerglings not being able to attack the air. Couldn't you just imagine Zerglings like leaping up onto a Mutalisk and
that would actually be kind of cool.
Riding on one?
You've played Campaign, haven't you? They do have leaping ones in Campaign.
Yeah, imagine a Baneling, though, riding on the back of a Mutalisk and just, like, jumping off into a clump of Lings.
That would be awesome. Actually, they should make that an upgrade for the Broodlord.
Wow.
No longer throws Broodlings, throws miniature Banglings.
Yeah. So remember earlier I said that there was going to be a period in time between the 10 and 20 minute mark where Lings will reign supreme? That is this moment, because as you can see, there's a lot of Ling harassment aimed at these thirds, going back and forth between the two players. We're at the third right now, Barbie Prime at the moment, targeting down a queen, about to go start targeting down these extractor drones, and it's literally like he is not anticipating getting these Lings out of there safely. However, he can really deteriorate this gas and bruise this hatchery, and the whole time he's mining his own gas. So his third base has stabilized. He just cannot let Barbie Prime stabilize hers. And just in case, he's building 2 more spine crawlers so that the Lings of his opponent are not going to be able to get into his base and cause the same kind of devastation that he's causing here. You can see that he's slowly but surely droning up the mineral line here at the third as well, but that is not his main priority. His main priority is pumping out Mutalisks, holding ground control with Lings, and staying alive. Now, we do have the Lings here causing a little bit of devastation, but there's a follow-up here, and the spine crawlers are finishing as well. Now, the spine crawler is about halfway health, but he should be able to heal that with a queen as soon as he clears the air here. But Barbie's got a lot of Mutalisks. Remember, she's had a little more gas mined this whole time, and she's got
just finished her +1 on air.
+1 on air. Now, there's a little bit of discussion going on right now whether +1 on air attack is better as a follow-up to +1 armor, or if +2 armor is better, despite being a little more expensive. I'm of the opinion that +2 armor is better. What's your opinion?
It depends upon how much you can invest in gas. If you feel far enough ahead to where you can invest that extra gas into the armor, go for it. But if you're eking for every little bit of gas you can get, then you better stick with the easier upgrade and just take the attack, because every little bit's going to help in the long run, especially if you're controlling it very well. Your big problem is you've got to decide whether you have the gas that you can afford to use there.
Absolutely. We actually have someone asking in chat. He says, I get so stressful when I ladder. Any tips? Yes, I definitely have tips, but hold that thought. There's Mutalisk battle right here, Barbie Prime, on the upgrade advantage. Now, the question becomes, is +2 armor better? Well, right now, +1 is better than +1 without an attack upgrade. But the Lings are still there for Quackers, absorbing shots, and that allowed him to win that battle. Now, the Banelings are coming in for Barbie Prime, but the damage has been done. Those Mutalisks are devastated for Barbie Prime. She lost so much gas in that battle.
Yeah, and see, right now, she's actually losing out in the units lost so much, just because every time that Quackers is engaging, he's engaging with Lings underneath. But
the thing is, she's almost lost her third. She has completely lost the gas from her third, lost most of the drones there, and has a fairly bruised hatchery. So while she's done a lot of damage, her opponent has done more. Now, I want to go back to Cyan Wong's question. Remember, it's just a game, man. You're supposed to lose about 50% of your games. If you're up against hard opponents, remember, it's always your fault that you lose. Now, again, Mutalisks going down here. Barbie Prime, she did damage the economy, but the problem is Quackers just has a bigger existing army with double the supply right now. It's 34 supply for Barbie's army to 66 supply for Quackers, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be GG. But going back to Cyan Wong's question, because we keep getting interrupted, what you want to do is just remember it's always your fault. And if you do that, you'll know that there's always something you can do to improve. It's always going to be your macro. It's always going to be your decision making. It's never something your opponent did. It's always something you did. And I know that's kind of adding to the stress, but when you realize that if you just make one or two minor changes in your gameplay or find a better understanding of the matchup than you previously had, things are going to take a completely different route for you. What league are you and what race do you play?
Yeah, I find that actually makes a large difference. A lot of people don't realize. I sit there and I talk to my buddies a lot when it comes to matches and streams and all that, and they're like, what do you run across as a Zerg player in this league? What do you run across as a Terran player in this league? And it is league specific. I struggled a lot in certain games with different things. All right, and that's it. Victory goes to Quackers, just surviving the economy longer. It really helped him out there in the long run.
Yeah, well, I think his economy got wrecked there at the very, very last moment. But at that point, it was too late. Because economy is your potential army, whereas your existing army is your existing army. So while you may sacrifice a lot of your army, as Barbie did, to wreck your opponent's economy, their income, if they have a larger army than you do on the field already, it's not going to matter because they're just going to go in and kill you. I liked what Barbie did. I think she got a little too fancy about it.
Yeah, she had the right ideas. It just cost her in the long run because there was so much that she could have done. That just those little engagements, having the lings underneath there, that's where the micro really helps you out in the long run. But everybody's got to learn. I mean, going back to the thing about leagues and all that, in Bronze League, I had so many issues with simple things like Marine Marauder, Medi. I always thought it was just, A move is all they have to do. Which
we have an answer now. He is Diamond level toss. So for a Diamond level player, my advice is this. Your macro is going to be okay, but it's not going to be perfect. Make sure you're doing really good on not getting supply blocked, always having pylons, always producing at any given moment. But also, there's a little micro techniques that you can learn to really speed up your gameplay. For instance, I saw Day 9 do a special on this once. Your tilde key, that's the one above tab and to the left of your number 1. You can set that to be a control group. And then that will, or not a control group, I'm sorry, a camera hotkey that will like control that key will create basically a screenshot where anytime you hit that button, it'll take you to that spot. This button will always be for proxy pylons. Then, if you get used to hitting that and you set, I'm trying to remember what the key is for warp in. Is it Q or W as Protoss?
I believe it's Q, but a lot of them reset that. I know a lot of my buddies, they've all got custom things, so I don't play Protoss, but I do believe it's W.
Is it Q? Is it Q or W?
I don't know. I don't play Protoss.
Okay. Well, if you have the camera set to the tilde key, you can set tab to your production. I believe is how he had it set up. So you hit the tilde key, tab, which will bring up all your warp gates, and then you hit Q to warp it in. I don't know, it's something like that. I'd look that video up. Day 9, talking about camera hotkeys, but basically it makes it so that you hit 3 buttons that are right next to each other to do an entire round of warp ins. It saves you so much time.
Yeah, some of the things you find a lot, like I know particularly with Zerg, the constant question is, how do you handle your
Injects.
injects? And everybody has a trick. You've got to find the one that works for you.
Yeah.
I've tried everything from the camera bindings to putting them all in the same and hitting tabs, putting all the queens on one.
Dude, I have the weirdest inject cycle setup. Let me explain this, okay? First, I use my middle mouse button to cycle between bases. That is my backspace key. You've seen that in work, actually.
Yep.
I have all my hatchery set to F1, all my queens set to tilde, and I have my main hatchery that I'm going to be upgrading to like layer and everything set to the space bar.
Okay.
And it's basically tilde key, Q, which is for me inject, click, tilde key, Q, click, tilde key, Q, click, middle mouse button, and it cycles through everything. It's beautiful.
That's not bad at all. That sounds like it's very effective.
It is.
I know a lot of people find that when it comes to the injects and all, tying it to the mouse is probably the easiest route, particularly the middle button, in some way or another. But everybody, the biggest thing I find is just got to make sure everyone knows that you have to find what works for you. Yeah, I've heard 100 people say, "Oh, you got to do it this way, and that's the only way you can do it." And it's like, but I don't like having to stretch my hand over to that key, or I don't like having to. It feels weird to have my hand that way. Build your own style. Find something. Don't worry about it. Look around, see what other people do, and then try to make it work for you in some way. Like, oh, I want to take a little bit of this guy's idea and a little bit of that guy's idea. You'll find something you need.
Yep. Well, we actually do have the player map now. If you want to host it, it's going to be Belshir Vestige, Mura versus Dredsky. Now, I am excited. Dredsky is one of my favorite players to watch. He is a Zerg player. He is super unpredictable. He's usually aggressive, but when I say unpredictable, even that is unpredictable.
Oh, that's always nice. We like it that way.
Indeed. Now, I want to go back to Cyan Wong's question because this is a great filler. But you're a diamond level player, as am I. The difference between a diamond level player and a master's level player is time and refinement. If you work on the same build for months and months and months, I know that sounds counterintuitive because you see pros switching up builds all the time, but that's because they're being studied. You know, they have to switch things up. They have to get ready for competitive level. You only need to know how to do one or two styles and how to adapt within those styles. There are so many variations within games that if you're not grinding out 10, 12 hours a day, it's going to take you months and months and months to figure out all the variations, the loopholes, where you move if he does this. Basically, if he does A, I do B, he does C, I do D, he does E, what do I do? You have to know it that deep, that many levels of Yomi. If you've ever read David Sirlin's article, Yomi Layers, it is an amazing article that talks about this kind of rock, paper, scissors style. If you guys haven't read it, I'm going to link it in chat. Please feel free to look that up. This is Sirlin.net. He's a game designer, former Street Fighter professional. Definitely worth checking out. But you basically just work on one style till you get it perfect. Make sure you've got all the execution down, and then learn a couple other styles. And when you find yourself doing that and learning just one build and refining it, you're going to get masters. There's no way you cannot get into masters. I know people who have got into masters, like top of masters, just off 4 gates alone. So they just refined that build. They did it so often, executed it so often, they knew every possible nuance to that matchup. But if you could hold that 4 gate, they crumbled. So the mentality of that is A, don't 4 gate, but B, just learn your build.
I'm sorry, I still remember season 1 where the rule was to get the diamond, all you had to do was 6 gate or 6 pool. Yeah. All you had to do was 4 gate to get the diamond. All you had to do was 1-1-1 to get the diamond. Now, I mean, you could try that all you want. Good luck on it. But I mean, it does not hurt to have a very good 6-pool or a very good 4-gate, because those are still usable strats.
Let's get this started. The players are ready.
All right, getting ready to start it up, guys. And
run the Daco State promo, because those sponsors are awesome. Thanks for sponsoring us. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to the viewers for tuning in. We appreciate it. Please like and follow this channel. Please add us on YouTube. My YouTube is at Misused Shaft. My Twitter is at The Only Shaft. Run that beautiful bean footage.